Today I'm finishing up the video on the new Hermle movement that had a chime fail. It was the first part of this video was Season 2, Episode 4, New Hermle's movement fail. And this is the conclusion of what was going on there. So if you haven't watched the first video, I recommend that you watch that first, and then you can figure out what's going on here with the second video. What we're going to do here is we're going to take a look at it. After I removed it out of the clock, it started chiming before I could get a chance to take a look at it, and I suspected that was going to happen, so nothing I can do about that now. So what I did do is decide to see if I could figure out by recreating the scenario of what happened. So we'll look at right here in this particular one right here, and I'm going to zoom in here. Okay, and this is your 4-position chime cam, and this little rod here, which is what triggers and goes around, came up and stopped right on the top of this lobe. So if you go back up here and look at this warning gear, let's get in here and see if we can get a little closer. You can see the pin right there. That pin came around and probably jammed on this cam right here. You notice this cam, I'm going to pull back out just for a second. You notice this cam has a weight on it, and this is a short cam, short lever, which is triggered by the hour and minute shaft up right here. This actually triggers the long lever, and see, this would be the long lever. Sorry about that. There's a long lever, and you can see about right there's where it jammed. Now I caused that to do it this time, and so what I did is right here I removed the rack so you could see this better. I removed the rack, and then this little short lever here operates the trip arm on the long lever, which operates the drive wheel or the warning wheel. So this cam here is your trip arm cam for the warning wheel, and it also is a corrector for time. So when the customer accidentally bypasses the quarter chime and doesn't trip, that cam will come around and correct that problem and put it back on the right chime time. I re-oiled this shaft. I re-oiled this shaft, and I removed the C-clip on this one, and I've already oiled this one here. So I wanted to have a little extra. The oiling of it, if you can see the oil, you put too much on there, so you want to be very careful on what you're doing there. This is the weight which drops it back down. They used to use a spring on those, and a tension spring. They don't do that anymore. They're using these weights as an offset to drop them back down. So we'll move on now, and I'll show you where I think the problem occurred. Okay, looking from the side view of your of the Hermle's clock, let's see if I can come in now. There it is. Then you see it tripped. See the warning pin is just touching the top of that. And I think what happened is it got ahead of itself a little bit out of time and caught the edge of it, and enough tension there that it wouldn't trigger. I think that's might have what caused it. So there's a couple of remedies for that. You can take a file and take a little of that. Sorry about that. You can take a little of that top off, which I wouldn't recommend. The other way to do that is to retard or advance that timing pin. So let's take a look at how we're going to do that. We'll back out a little bit. And let me set it up and I'll show you what we're going to try and do. Okay, we're looking at the front view again. You can see your two cams. And what we want to do is take this cam right here. We want to loosen it up so it's just barely on there. But we don't want it to without putting a little pressure on it, we don't want it to move. So now we can take up here and watch the cam and the gear. You see how they both move? Okay, if I move it this way, pull it back towards me, and I adjust the cam to fit, that's going to move that pin down this way a little bit. And that's what I did. I've already done this. I loosened this cam up right here. I loosened it up and I moved the warning pin just a little bit forward. And that way it comes down a little sooner than later. And I'm hoping that it won't hit that arm again. So that was my two things that I did to correct the problems. So let's go back through it here. I oiled this cam back down here, which I've already put the rack back on. I also put a dab of oil on the rack, and I adjusted the advancement on this warning pin so that it hits the stop arm down there a little faster. So we have the long lever, the short lever, the activator, which triggers the cams, all working in conjunction with each other. A lot of people ask me what kind of oil I used, and I used this particular oil right here, Whaler's Delight, and it's a watch oil and it's extremely fine, and I dropped just a little bit on the watch oiler, and then I come back over here and I oiled a little dab on this the rack and on the short lever down here, which you can probably see right here. So I put a little bit of oil on both of those. I adjusted the warning gear for advancing a little bit, and I think that will hopefully that will take care of the problems on this clock. I think what happened is the cam here was off just a smidge, or it moved and wasn't quite tight enough. So I retightened these after I got done a lot tighter. So we'll see how this works now for a couple days, and if it works fine, I'll take it back and give her to the customer. So with that, I'll say thanks for watching, and that ends video 2 and the problems that we thought were created with the Hermle clock. Thanks for watching as always.